Classic rock album reviews coming right at you.
SHMACKEMAGOB, people. It is another one of these classic rock shows, and I'm going to get a little hardcore this week. It's hardcore meets metal, thrash, historic album. I don't think this can be released today. Stormtroopers of Death, S.O.D. with Speak English or Die. I'm sure if this was released today, it'd be like, oh, they're racist and they're Nazis, even though, you know, you got Sgt.D in the band, Rosenfeld. This album was something after they did Spreading the Disease. It was just them messing around, and they made this album, and little did they know it would turn out to be such a historic album. And doesn't offend me, and I'm Cuban. Sí, yo hablo español. Soy cubano. Speak English or Die doesn't offend me. I mean, I guess I was raised in a era where, you know, we didn't have wild hairs up our ass, or we're looking to be offended. But this album is so historically and so awesome, and still holds up today as well as it did back then musically. That opening track, March of the S.O.D., has to be, in my opinion, the heaviest riff known to man. It is crushing. Such a great instrumental intro, a minute and 30 seconds. This album has 11 tracks, not including Ram It Up, which is a bonus track on the CD. And I don't know how, this album's kind of short with all these songs, you know, with 11 tracks. No, actually, I'm sorry. 21 tracks. I was just judging it by side 2 has 11 tracks. But March of the S.O.D. going into Sgt.D and the S.O.D. You know, Sgt.D is coming and you're on his this, you know, melt back, you know, something to your sister and melt back her tits. It's funny. It's supposed to be like, you know, that sense of humor. But Sgt.D is a character that Scotty and Drew, and it's supposed to be like this insane, you know, not a politically correct guy, you know. And the next song, Kill Yourself, I remember hearing an interview with Scotty and saying it's an suicide song. I don't know about that, but hey, look, I'm still alive, and I've been listening to this since '85. That rhymed. All 3 words rhyme. I'm still alive. I've heard this since '85. That rhymed. Speak English or Die. Milano Mar. Dun, dun, dun. Remember the Headbangers Ball on MTV? That was one of the... There's a few of these songs that were kind of like the intro. Not the intro. Yeah, the intro to the Headbangers Ball in the 80s. And Milano Mosh. Can You Do It? Ripping tune. Title track, Speak English or Die. As I said, doesn't offend me, man. I love it. But I'm not, you know, I'm not really politically correct. Though, there's some stuff I'm politically correct about. It's called, you know, being decent. You know, there are exceptions of being politically correct. But not when it comes to a sense of humor, man. When it comes to a joke, I'm politically correct when it's not funny. United Forces. If I remember at the end of this video, I'm going to play a clip of my band, Sgt.D, playing United Forces, which wasn't rehearsed. Spur of the moment thing. Hope I remember. Chromatic Death. That was another one of the Headbangers Ball little themes. You know, it showed like, you know, black and white footage of trains crashing and demolition and stuff like that. High Alpha Nu, really a fast tune, a minute long. Charlie just going apeshit. Anti-Procrastination song is 3 seconds long, and me describing it was 10 times longer than the song is. What's That Noise is 57 seconds of I wish this wasn't on here. I really don't like that song. It's just, I mean, it's funny, but Jesus, that noise that goes on it, it's like, stop. So we flipped the album over, and it's Freddy Krueger. And at this time, Freddy Krueger, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street was kind of big when it first came out, but it became more huge as time went on. And I remember when this album came out, it was still a little underground. Nightmare on Elm Street, it wasn't like this huge phenomenon that Freddy Krueger was. And if I remember to put a clip, they took pictures with Freddy Krueger. I hope I remember to add this. I hope I sit down and watch it while I edit. Milk. Now, a lot of people claim Milk is the first song with blast beats, but I can't remember what song it was on Deal With It from DRI that was before this that kind of had some blast beats. But still, one of the coolest songs on here. Milk rules. Good for the body. Pre-Menstrual Princess Blues is a 2-minute song of a chick that's bitching, you know, because she's on her period. And it's like, you know, the riff is kind of like March of the S.O.D. And you hear her yelling, you know, at her boyfriend. And then they come in, Pre-Menstrual Princess Blues. Cool stuff. Funny stuff. Pussy Whipped. This is one of the more popular tunes on here. And boy, back in '85, I knew a lot of guys that really fit that description. That just dated girls that treated them like shit and they wouldn't leave them because they were pussy whipped. And the song rules. Fist Banging Mania, 2 songs. Song about like banging your fist at a show. Good stuff. Douche Crew. No Turning Back. 49 seconds of pure hardcore thrashing goodness. 24-second song called Fuck the Middle East. Very anti-politically correct song. Awesome tune. It's only 24 seconds long, but it's effective. Doesn't seem 24 seconds long now I think about it, but it is. Douche Crew, that one's good. That's a minute and 34 seconds of. And then Hey Gordy, Give Me a Shot. Great tune. The Ballad of Jimi Hendrix, 4 seconds long. It's the intro to Purple Haze. Dun, 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 dun. You're dead. Then when I saw S.O.D, when was it? In either 1999 or 2000, they did the Ballad of Kurt Cobain and all these new ones. But even a ballad of William Shatner when his wife drowned in the pool. Very inappropriate, but it was funny. Sorry. Diamonds and Rust. Diamonds and Rust. And here it says Diamonds and Rust extended version. It's only 2 seconds long. Ram It Up is a song that's not on here. It's a bonus track on the CD, and it's cool. So I love S.O.D, and I want to go through some other stuff here. The next thing they released was this one. I had Charlie and Scott autograph it live at Budokan, which it wasn't recorded in Japan. It was recorded at the Ritz, I believe, in New York, and it's pretty much the whole album, but they threw in, you know, like again, a little short tune called The Camel Boy, Momo. These are all songs that were recorded back then in demo form. Vitality. Vitality sung by Dan Lilliker, and which is only him talking. Get a Real Job, which is an M.O.D. song, which I will go into. I'll go into the M.O.D. stuff. Living in the City, which is cover of Fear. I love Fear. That album, the record, I should do a classic albums on that album. One of my favorite records. And they do Living in the City, which is actually M.O.D. did Living in the City, which I'll talk about in a few. I got some M.O.D. and S.O.D. stuff in front of me. Stigmata and Thieves, 2 Ministry covers, which they do pretty damn good. Territorial Pissing, which is Nirvana from Nevermind, and I'm pretty sure Nevermind just came out. This was released the year of Nevermind, and they covered that song, which was odd. And that's it for that. You know, the rest is United Forces and so on. Then they released a second album, which, I don't know, in a way it was kind of a mistake, but it still has great stuff. And I think this album is extremely underrated because it has to live up to this. And it just didn't. But it still has its moments. My problem with this CD is the opening track, Bigger Than the Devil, which is the title track. It's them trying to be Pantera. I love Pantera. I hate when other bands try to be Pantera. So it's just a horrible opening. I didn't like it. I know some of you do. Crackhead Song is okay, but Kill the Assholes is when the album starts getting good. King at the King was just King Diamond at the drive-thru at Burger King. And one of my favorite songs on here, Evil Is In. Very killer tune. Celtic Frosted Flakes, which is that's one of those songs that gets stuck in my head. You know, whatever happened to Celtic Frost? And Tom G. Warrior, they asked him about that song and he's like, fuck S.O.D. He wasn't a fan. Charlie Don't Cheat, which is so fast. And they played it live. I mean, that song is like, how long is it? Well, it doesn't have a track listing here. It's like over a minute, but it's over a minute of Billy just constantly singing without a breath. And they did it live, which is amazing. Make Room is good. That one I really liked. Free Dirty Needles is another one of my favorites on here. Frankenstein and His Horse is hilarious. Frankenstein and His Horse. It's just a stupid song, but I think it's hilarious. Every Tiny Molecule is another great song off this album. Really cool. Aren't You Hungry is from M.O.D., USA for M.O.D., recorded Aren't You Hungry, but with different music. Because Anthem, the original version that's on here now, on Among the Living album, the song called Imitation of Life, which I really dislike that song. Aren't You Hungry? It should have stayed like that. And they re-recorded it for this with the way it was intended. Ballad of Michael Hutchinson, which is In Excess, dun, 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 You're Dead, which is, you know, again, going on with the other thing. And also the Ballad of Phil Hartman, which is the music of Simpsons. And then there's this, S.O.D. Seasoning the Obese. I don't know how popular this is. I don't know. I don't remember even how I got this, but it's a parody, and Billy Milano signed it. It's a parody of Slayer. The song is Total Slayer. It's really awesome. And then the second song on here is called Raise Your Swords, which is a total spoof on Manowar. And I find it kind of funny. Alright, so we're done with S.O.D. I want to discuss the sequel to Speak English or Die, which is USA for M.O.D. This album's amazing. It's so good. And it starts with Aren't You Hungry, their version, which I prefer over Imitation of Life. Get a Real Job rules. I'm not going to go through every song. Let's just breeze through this. Don't Feed the Bears is one of my favorites. They do the Ballad of Dio, but it doesn't say You're Dead. Actually, Dio wasn't dead at this time. Bubble Butt is funny. Bushwhackities. Man of Your Dreams, which is Freddy Krueger Part 2. That Noise, again, I hate that shit. Which is a sequel of What's That Noise? Dead Man Most and Captain Crunch is one of the highlights on here. Jim Gordon is pretty cool. Import Society is kind of Speak English or Die Part 2. Oh, AIDS. Anal Inflicted the Sentence, AIDS. So offensive. I laughed. I'm sorry. I'm insensitive. I grew up in a generation with Dice Clay, Richard Pryor, you know? So, Ruptured Neutral. Old Tahiri is hilarious. And probably my favorite song on this album ends it. The Hate Tank. The Love Boat. The Hate Tank. Now, then they released Surfin' M.O.D., which I found to be a huge disappointment. It's an EP, but I really do like the song Oofus. And Party Animals is kind of good. But the rest is like the Beach Boys and I don't know, Color My World. The next one, this one, Gross Misconduct, which I also own on vinyl. And this one, underrated. And sometimes I think it's even better than USA for MOD. This album is amazing. I mean, this band, this lineup, No Glove, No Love, True Colors, Godzilla, Accident Scene, the title track, Satan's Cronies, the cover of Fears in the, Live in the City, Come As You Are, Vents. Vents is like 3 seconds long, and they made a video for it. The Ride, awesome shit. And then this one is like even more underrated. By this time, nobody cared anymore. And this album is called Rhythm of Fear. And I think it's awesome. This is a great, great album. You could probably get it for super cheap. And if you like MOD and you like that crossover thrashy stuff, you should check this album out. It went under the radar. It's amazing. And what's my favorite song on here? Irresponsible. Amazing. But the whole album is awesome. And yeah, I have some more MOD stuff. I got this one signed. I saw this tour at Red, White, and Screwed. But what else? I guess that's all I want to talk about. I went on too long. Just to talk about one album, I went into several. But I love S.O.D's Stormtroopers of Death. Speak English or Die is a historic piece of metal that won't fly today. And I proudly got to see the band in Orlando in 1999, and it was one of the greatest shows I ever saw. And you know, you think they're racist and all that shit, but there was a guy in the crowd that did the Sieg Heil, and Billy Milano had him kicked out. He's like, "You motherfucker, my grandfather killed motherfuckers like you. Get this motherfucker out." I got him kicked out. So, hey man, it's all a sense of humor. Something that we all are missing in today's generation of millennials. Oh well. But anyway, hey, if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. Click that little bell. And also, if you want to donate, I got a PayPal in the description below. So here is Thrash or Die in Puerto Rico. And how this turned out, we had this really awesome dude called Angel that picked us up at the airport, drove us around. He was kind of like, he took care of the band while we were there. And that night, he talked to my drummer during the gig, saying, "Dude, let's do United Forces." And they didn't tell me about this. So they start going into it, and I'm like, shit. So I know the song by heart, so I sang it, and the band played it, no rehearsal whatsoever, and I think we nailed it. It's very distorted sounding, and it was actually a free show we played. We actually played a proper show the night before, and then the next day, we went back to the club and played a free show because we loved the promoter so much. He was the coolest dude. I'll never forget during one of the, I think I told this story before. Before the show, I went to go talk to him in the back in his office, and he's just sitting there with a girl giving him a head going, "Hey, what's going on?" Guy was like the Fonz to me. So he asked us, "Would you play a show?" And I said, "Hell yeah." And my voice was tore up because we did Hell's Bells the night before. My voice was fucked up, and we didn't rehearse that one either. But we still did it. So in this show, my voice is, but you can't really make it out because it's so distorted, the sound. But here it is, without us even rehearsing it. We got Angel up on stage, and if you look closely, there's this really cool dude that's stage diving, that me and him are working on a project called Old Leather. His name is Juan, and that should be coming out soon. And here it is, and thanks for watching, everybody. SHMACKEMAGOB. For those that use social media, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and you can join the Almost Human 56 Facebook page. All links are in the description below. A lot of you been asking for it. SHMACKEMAGOB merch. Yes, many types of shirts, long sleeves, short sleeves, hoodies, you name it. Plus other stuff like shower curtains and bedspreads and mugs and socks and clocks and oh, I can go on. But why should I? The link is below. Just click the link below in the description for all the SHMACKEMAGOB merch. Order yours now. SHMACKEMAGOB! Hey, check out my podcast, The VIERA Vault, on Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes. Subscribe. The links are below.
Looking for some new podcasts to listen to? Well, Rat Salad Review Network has plenty of shows to choose from. Like Rat Salad Review, where they discuss the latest rock and metal news, as well as interviews and albums. Album versus Album, the King Diamond Podcast, with Wayne Noon, Greg Norgal, and sometimes this guy.
SHMACKEMAGOB!
Ralph Vieira is also on our network with the VIERA Vault. There's also Old Man Metal's Musings, where he discusses heavy metal and beer. Music is Life with Lou Mavs. The Right Opinion for those who love politics. A South Park podcast called Suck My Balls. The Infinite Fringe, a watch-along wrestling show called Beyond Bushido. Ex-Stradivarius guitarist, the Timo Tolkki podcast. And the Great Harry Barnett with I Don't Even Like Podcasts. So check out ratsaladreview.com or search Rat Salad Review on YouTube, Podbeam, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and more.